warm welcome to all of you. This is Ampliz Webinar 5. And I'm Ashwini. I work with the growth team here at Ampliz. So first of all, thank you for tuning in. And today I have a very, very special guest and a dear friend of mine. I'm so happy that I'm really a part of this conversation after such a long time. We've had an incredible journey in the past. And, if I think about blogging, if I think about inbound marketing, the first person that comes to my mind is Vivek Nair. So he's created that, that name. And he's actually, very talented person that I've actually met. You can talk to him about anything, and he always has that info about, anything related to marketing. He's that one person that you have to definitely talk to. So thank you, Vivek, for joining me today. And you have taken a very, very special topic, social selling, which I'm really looking forward to learn from you. So first of all, thank you so much for being a part of Ampliz Webinar.
Thank you for having me. As you know, you said a lot of big words, kind words about me. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here, and let's talk about it. It's a big topic these days, social selling. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Let me get started with the first very simple question. Any 101 starts with what is that? So what is social selling? If you can put into simpler terms, I think it will be more beneficial.
Right. So let me not give information out for everybody's sake of understanding. I'll not go with standard definitions or standard things which you will find on internet. Maybe I would like to give actionable insights which I have done myself and I have learned, and where I have burned my fingers, etc., etc. So a lot of these things may not rhyme with the things which you will find on Wikipedia or something, right? So what is social selling? And before that, let's understand why is it important to know about social selling, right? Every marketer or every salesperson knows the pain of getting a sale these days. If you take an example of an industry like SaaS, right? If I want to buy a social media management platform, if I go and search on the Google, the top social media management platforms, I'll get a huge list of softwares these days, and it's tough to make a decision because everybody is pretty much priced in the same range of $10 to $250, and almost everybody will have the same feature because these are all a couple of products like Buffer or Hootsuite came to the picture, and people started copying them. Right? So now there are a lot of things. So to get a sale or a $10 product or a $250 product or any product, getting a sale is a tough thing. Okay. So why social selling came into the picture is because, earlier days, there were talks about B2B and B2C marketing, right? Business selling to businesses or business selling to consumers. Now the term, all of that is getting mixed together, and it is mostly, as my good friend Brian Kramer will say, it's H to H, right? Whether you are selling, you are the McKinsey's selling a huge consulting project to a top Fortune 500 organization, or you are a marketer of Flipkart selling a mobile phone to a local person. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the sale happens between two people, right? The message of your brand with the person who is signing the check or the person who is taking his credit card out and putting the CVV in, right? So it's totally human to human these days. So every marketer or every salesperson needs to take this message home, that you are not trying to sell it to an organization. You are trying to sell it to a person behind the brand, right? So that's where the social selling has taken a lot of prevalence these days, because now if you look at social media itself, there's a saying that every place is nice unless and until marketers get into it. We marketers mess it up, right? I agree with that. Like look at TikTok. TikTok came into a picture and it was all going good. People were making a lot of followers and things like that. Now there are ads everywhere because marketing people got behind it. Thanks to Gary Vaynerchuk or other influencers who keep experimenting. It's not bad, it's good. But only thing is, when it comes to Indian brands, especially, we have this tendency of uh, we lack patience. Number one, we want results immediately, right? The moment I put a video on TikTok, I want results to come in on Tuesday, or maybe if it is on Monday, I want it on Tuesday. So the patience factor is missing, right? So whichever earlier we used to use social media to boost the reach of our brand, right? Then we started getting lead, we became focused on lead generation, and people, the audience, obviously any brand, if you take B2B, B2C, doesn't matter, audience are becoming smarter these days. Unless and until you have smart marketing brains working out on crafty messages, you are not going to get any result out of your social media marketing, right? Because uh, number one, your content has to be damn good. Like for example, if you take the example of Buffer, right? Buffer doesn't have any fancy videos or any fancy animation running around. They just have topics which resonates with their audience, which are people who want to run social media. Simple as that. It can be a marketing manager, it can be a CMO, it can be a business owner, it can be anybody who wants to make use of social media for their business, right?
Yeah.
So they pick up topics which are relevant to them, and they will produce content on that, right? So now what has happened is, as I told, audience have become very smart. They can mute your ads, they can mute your message, they can unfollow you, and they don't. Getting followership also is a big deal these days, right? Everybody talks about vanity metrics, number of followers doesn't matter. I will say it matters, unless because once you reach 1 million followers, it's very easy to say that followers doesn't matter, because now the snowball effect have already taken place. Now you, whatever you post out, you get a minimum guaranteed engagement. That is when influencers and other marketers who have done big will say, hey, these are vanity metrics. No, it is not a vanity metric for me, because it matters, right? Somebody following my brand's content, somebody following my brand on social is a big deal for me, because I have got one more eye or a ear to listening and tuning into my content, right? So now, what is the best way to reach these audience? What is the best way to get the right results for your brand? Social selling, right? Even it carries the word selling in it. The reason behind, maybe I'll talk later about it, what is the difference. But the end goal is a sale, or whatever it is. Like for example, building your audience, it can be anything, right? Getting more reach out of your content, etc. Whatever the goal may be, social selling has set procedures, set steps which you can follow, so that you create that human to human interaction, you create that connect with your audience, right audience, that is also very critical here, right audience, and move them closer to your goal. That's how it is. So that's basically what social selling is.
Awesome. So, this is another term called social marketing also. So people kind of interchangeably use it, but I'm sure that there is some difference out there. What is the difference between social selling and social marketing?
Right. So as I mentioned, right, when social media, when we marketers found out there is something called social media, which we can try to sell stuff on, everybody latched onto it, and we started producing content, started sharing it. The same content will go on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., etc., and we started building our audiences there. So that's what social media marketing is all about, right? But when it comes to social selling, social media marketing basically can be either for lead generation, or it can be for your awareness, or it can be even for a community building also. But social selling, your ultimate goal is the sale. So it has a revenue aspect coming to it. Nobody will do social selling, or nobody will start off a social selling campaign just to create followership. No, that doesn't match, because for that you're already doing social media marketing, right? Social selling is where you have a dollar value attached to your activities. For example, you might have a goal like, I want to generate 10 leads for this particular product line. So you will have a end goal which is having a dollar value attached to it, and that's social selling is all about. Your attempts are towards moving the needle towards that end goal, whichever is. It may be a sale, it may be a lead, it may be to close a deal also sometimes. You know, there are various fantastic applications of social selling where sometimes cold leads can be get warmed up by social selling.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. So that's how it is. So social marketing is basically for multiple reasons, but it need not, I'm again reiterating it, it need not have a dollar value against it. But social selling is all about generating sales, or it's about easing the sales process. It all depends on your product, you know. And social selling is predominantly good for B2B brands, you know. It's where you know whom you're going to sell to, right? For example, a consulting company who knows that my audience is CXOs sitting in energy organizations, you know. So I know who are those people. I know the designations there. So then only you can run a seamless social selling program. You know, it can't be done without understanding of your audience. So it is good. It is very effective for B2B organizations.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, you know, if we talk about the buyer's journey, you know, where does social selling sit? In which process or which place does social selling sit in the buyer's journey?
Right. So that's a very interesting question, because you know there are multiple ways. The way I look at it. See, as you know, mostly the funnel, like the marketing funnel.
Yeah.
There are debates going on that the funnel doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't follow a series of steps before purchasing things, right? But having said that, a buyer's journey is a very good practice we can follow, so that we can have our tactics and our other marketing activities planned accordingly, right?
True.
Because any, you know, as I mentioned, the funnel be diminishing, the buyer's journey still exists, you know, because if again, I'm going back to an example of a SaaS product, there is a typical buyer's journey, like somebody getting in touch with your brand first time, and a free trial to a demo, and to demo to a sale. You can typically go with a journey like that, right? So social selling or your social selling program can work as a catalyst across the cycle. What I mean to say is, like, for example, let's assume that you have a new product coming in, right? It's a B2B product, and you know that it will cater to marketing managers of companies which fall into these industries, which has more than 1,000 employees, and because they have budgets for this kind of product, right? So you know your persona very well. You know your buyer persona very well. So now, before the launch itself, imagine you design your social selling program in such a way that your first goal is to get 100 beta users.
Okay.
Can you buy social selling help? Yes. How? You can have a team, your marketing team or your sales team working together to connect with 500 to 700 marketing managers of similar organizations, right? You connect with them, the social selling will have a typical certain kind of activities and imbibed in it. You follow those, and out of those 700, if you can get 100 guys to be your beta testers, so that is nothing works like that. Rather than reaching out to cold emailing to people and getting rejected or going to their spam, this is the best way to get those beta users. Number one. Number two, let's imagine that next stage, when they are done with the beta testing, right? You still have those folks connected with your guys. You know, you can keep building up momentum on those conversations and offer them a free trial. You know, and get them, after the beta trial is over, all the feedbacks have been collated and all the changes have been made. You can same 120 folks or 100 folks you have in your beta, you can use the same list and you can try them to get into a free trial, right? Those 120 or 100 odd people, you can again keep them warmed up via your social selling activities and get them signed up for a demo. And from them, even 10% converts, that's 10 paying customers.
Yeah.
So it cuts across your entire buyer's cycle, right? That is one typical example which I showed. Even imagine that you have a product which is already out in the market, already being used by people, etc., etc. You can use social selling after, your social selling can even extrapolate it after sales also. Like, for example, imagine that you want to convert somebody into a brand advocate. Social selling can help there also. Like, for example, you know that there are 100 customers who are happy with you. You can make sure that your marketing folks or your sales folks are connected to them and keep an engagement going with them with some of the techniques which we will discuss later, and make sure that that conversation happens in such a way that you show maximum empathy to your end users, and out of that you will gain maybe a testimonial, a video testimonial, or maybe they can be a guest on a show like this of yours and talk about your product. So these are the ways where social selling can plug in at various stages of your buyer's journey. So to answer your question in a single sentence, it will be social selling can be employed across your buyer's journey.
Yeah.
It's all about your smartness, where you want to use it. Having said that, your smartness, sometimes we become over smart, right? We become over smart and we try to close the deal on the first conversation itself.
Yeah.
That's not the purpose of social selling. Social selling, even though the end goal is to get a sale, the main thing is to create empathetic relationships, build relationships with your audience. That's how it works.
Oh, great. So that's really a deep perspective to it. Yeah, sure. So, okay, tell me one thing. So, see, when you're using social media to even reach out to any folks or any of that sort, targeting is very important. How would you go about targeting using social media as a main platform?
Right. Again, that's again another tricky question. So, what happens is social selling predominantly works on two platforms. Where I have used it. One is LinkedIn and one is Twitter. So let's again go back to how you will approach identifying your audience, right? So let's take a step back. When you start designing your social selling program, the number one is your goal. What is your goal, right? Number two is building, like whenever you kickstart an inbound marketing strategy or something, you have to build your buyer persona. In social selling, that will be equivalent to your audience. Who is your target audience? So you have to paint a clear picture of who your audience is. Like, for example, if you're saying that my audience is marketing managers having more than 10 years of experience, working in companies in these industries, with organizations which have more than these many employees, and who are interested in blogging, social media marketing, and inbound marketing. So you have to get those granular details of your audience, right? So having that, what you can do is you can start your research on these networks for those audience. Like, for example, let me give you how you can do it, right? For example, let's take Twitter's example.
Okay.
Number one, there are tools like the recruitin.net, which is good for LinkedIn. Similarly, what you can do is you can start with, let's assume that you prepared a list of organizations which are your target organizations, right? For example, I'm taking the example of Infosys, right? You know that marketing manager in Infosys will be perfect for you. So what you can do is you can use Google search and try, in quotes, you can search for marketing manager quote Infosys. So you can see folks who will come in the search results. You can connect, mostly it will be LinkedIn, or you can even use quote Twitter also. Sometimes people mention their in their Twitter handle itself, their workplace, etc., etc. Those folks will come in, right? Other way to do it is you go to Twitter, right? Normal search, you can search for marketing manager or hashtag marketing. you will get, and you can filter out in the people section, and you can see a lot of people coming, right? Two ways to do it. Either you can use the general search feature of Twitter, or else you can use the advanced search feature, which will give you a lot of Boolean algebra, Boolean functions coming in, and or etc. etc. You can filter it out and go for the, even geography wise, you can select people who fall in that category, right? These are three ways to do it. Other way to do it is when you connect with folks on LinkedIn, right? For example, LinkedIn is the #1 platform for B2B folks. When you connect with somebody, if you go to their contact details, most of the people will have their Twitter IDs mentioned there, so you can connect with them on Twitter as well, right? So your targeting has to be in such a way that once you have the understanding of folks on your target audience, once you have the real characteristics, what are their functionalities and what are their functions, designations, etc., you can use that to find these folks on both the networks. One tool which I will recommend for LinkedIn is recruiting.net, I guess. If you go and search in them designation wise, location wise, industry wise, name also, you can search and it will throw out a list of people who are on LinkedIn with that designation or that company or that industry. So you can send out, you can connect with those folks with a customized connection request. So it's not at all difficult with Twitter and LinkedIn to connect with folks. So it's a much because every working professional is mostly on LinkedIn and Twitter. So these platforms are very good for your social selling programs.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what is the the prerequisites if I have to go about in the setting up social selling campaign or something of that sort? What is a prerequisite that I should be that I should keep in mind?
Okay, that's $1 million question. I'll say why. Because when it comes to since the term has selling in it, we literally try to sell. But it has to be smartly done. That's why companies fail in these kind of programs is because one, they don't have patience. They want sales immediately. Number two, they go about it all wrong. Like for example, I've got things like this, right? Somebody from Noida working in some app development company will connect with me. The moment I accept the request, I'll get a mail saying that I develop apps. Why don't you take our services? That's a bummer because nobody will go for it. Most of my friends in US, they have this preconceived notion that we Indians are very fake. We try to sell too much. That's true. That's true because if you go to any freelancer platform or if you go to Facebook groups where there are supposed to be selling happening, you can see we take it very low. We take the standards too low, and there are people ready to work for free also these days, which is that, I don't know, it's that's the kind of desperation out there, right? So coming back to your question, what I'll say is, number one, when you kick off your social selling program, number one, the first thing you have to focus on is your profile. Your profile should be as professional as possible, right? Number one, couple of things to note because we don't have a lot of time here. Number one thing is your profile picture. I've seen people posting selfies in LinkedIn profiles and sunglasses on and things. It's fine. If you're Tom Cruise or somebody, you can put sunglasses or, it doesn't matter, But if you're a B2B marketer working in a small organization, sitting somewhere in Bengaluru or Gurgaon or New York, you can't have a weird picture up there and you can't expect everybody to connect with you, right? You have to maintain the decorum of the platform. Even if it is Twitter, I mean to say, if you're planning to use your own Twitter profile for social selling, don't have a professional picture up there.
Yeah.
If it is semi-casual, it's fine, but no weird pictures, no selfies and things like that, right? Number two is your profile headline, etc. The entire profile, because the way people, when somebody gets a connection request, he will obviously go first thing he will see is the headline.
Yeah.
What does this guy do? You know, if you can't explain what you do in your headline, you're missing the point. Nobody is gonna accept your connection request. You know, I keep debating with a lot of people in this. When people say that, oh, I started, I'm very active on LinkedIn, I'm sending thousands of requests, nobody's connecting with me. When I look at their profile will not have nothing. They have nothing, literally. They have their current designation mentioned and one weird picture and no content, nothing. You know, no bio written, etc., etc. That's a bummer. Nobody will connect with you if you don't have a professional bio out there. So use your headline properly. You know, if you can come up with a one liner, like for example, if I have a social media management platform, I will come up with a headline like reduce your social media management time by 50%. Or I help companies reduce their social media management time by 50%. So people will understand that, okay, I am a marketing manager. Vivek is connecting with me, who is working on social media. He might be of a good acquaintance for me. So I'll accept his request. So you have to take care of your headline, your bio. Your bio has to have good amount of content up there, which will explain what have you done in your career, what kind of work are you doing now, what are your aspirations and things like that. Also, try to give as much as information in your contact details. Try to include your other social media profiles. If you have a website or a blog, mention that and things like that, right? And also, imagine that you are hibernating on LinkedIn profile for a long time. One fine Monday, you woke up and thought, okay, so I have to start off my social selling, and you started connecting with people and you get desperate to connect. They are not accepting your request. No, that's going to happen. So what you have to do is, when you are, before you kick off your social selling or something, you have to really understand the meaning of social, right? You have to start focusing on your profile first, you know, and based on the people whom you want to connect to, start sharing content which makes sense to them. Start sharing. Don't expect a lot of likes and a lot of comments and a lot of shares on your content in the beginning. Try to share good, relevant content and try not to overshare also, you know, and try to be in groups where your audience are also part of. Try to understand what kind of conversations happen in those groups and try to keep yourself educated and share your insights also, right? For example, there are features like LinkedIn articles, you know, where you can write articles about something you learn. No need to think that I'll come across as a fool. You know, the world is full of fools. Okay, it's a simple, hard and fast fool. But you can be a different fool. You know, nobody can bring your foolishness to the table. You know, everybody talks in the way that you are an expert. You can bring your. I look at it the other way. Right? Everybody is foolish. You have to bring your foolishness in your own style. You know, simple as that. Whatever you learn, you know, even if it is setting up a Twitter profile, try to write about it. You know, how did you enjoy that process? I think try to be as authentic as possible, right? And trust me, if you do that diligently, very soon you will start seeing results. And by results, I'm not talking about sales or anything. I'm saying people engaging with those content. And then you start sharing out connection requests to people with a customized message. Don't keep sending requests. Try to say that, hey Ashwini, I'm Vivek and I work with so and so company, and I am sending this request to you because fill in the blanks. I want to explore avenues or things like that. That's how I connect with people. Some of my friends who are not from marketing, they keep asking me, how can you strike up a random conversation with strangers? I'm like, I love talking to people. So there might be some LinkedIn conversations where nobody knows me, but I'll be the one who has maximum amount of comments there. Because that is a topic which I'll care about, and that is where I think that I can make a difference. I contribute there. There is nothing I am expecting out of that conversation that guy is going to look at my profile, he's going to give me the next job or nothing like that. It's about connecting with people, right? So like all these influencers, they keep the social alive in social media, right? So make sure, coming back to your question again, the prerequisites, number one is work freaking hard on your profile. Work hard on your profile, number one, and work hard on the content piece of it.
Okay.
What kind of content you are sharing, even if it is not your content, doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter at all, because there is no dearth of content these days. There's a lot of content getting pumped in, right? If your tool or your team is not capable enough to produce own content at the moment, doesn't matter. Start curating, right? But make sure you're curating the right content for your audience and sharing it regularly. It's not that you tried for a week, nobody liked your content, you shut it down. No,
Yeah.
you have to keep going. You have to keep going, because everybody who is a champion in content these days, they have started it before 10 years. When only Facebook maybe existed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those were the hard days. Now it's much easier. You have smartphones, you have Geo giving free gigabytes. You have a lot of things these days, right?
Yeah.
So prerequisites, your profile, very much important, and a plan in place. Plan in place. Why I will say I want to bring your attention to that is because without a plan for your social selling, you can't run a program, because that will be a biggest crime you can do, right? For example, you need to know who your audience is. Whom are you going after? Because otherwise, what happens is you will spray all over the place, and nothing will stick. You will end up being frustrated, spending a lot of time on social media and things like that, right? So in the plan, you need to have complete understanding of your audience, your messaging, what kind of message you will send to them. Pre-plan all these things. How will my connection request go, and which all ways I can contribute to their lives. Professional, personal, doesn't matter. As long as it's age to age, it doesn't matter. Don't interfere in others' life when they are trying to do something, but being empathetic and contribute to them in any way possible, right? So I can give you weird examples in this place, because I keep doing all these things, right? For example, I'll tell you, one of the influencers, I'm very proud to say, uh, my Facebook friends, right? I never use Facebook for friendships and things like that. It's all social media influencers across the globe. I'm very proud to say that, because very soon maybe I'll write a book about how to bootstrap your influencer marketing. So I have done it very simple way by connecting with that person on a personal level, and now people know me by my first name. I'm very proud to say it, because I've invested a lot of time into that. So how you can contribute, simple ways, right? For example, if you see that one of your target audience is coming to India, and you know that he fits perfectly into your target audience, you can contribute to him by saying the best places to visit in Delhi.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's coming to Bangalore, offer him a coffee. Try to meet him up. If he's going to an event, try to attend that event. And things like that. So always it's on social media or social selling, it's always give and take. First you have to give before you can ask.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. So always these are a couple of signposts for you before you kick off your journey, right?
Great. So tell me one thing. So you have, you spoke a lot about the different social selling programs and all of that. What would be your favorite metrics to judge if this social a social selling program is successful or not? Let's keep the the number of the revenue that you get aside, and let's talk about the other metrics that that you would think to judge best with social selling.
Right. So currently, I'm running a couple of programs like this. So for me, there are two types of metrics, right? One which has got intangible benefits, and one has got tangible results, right? For example, for me, some of the metrics, some people may not agree with this, but this is my point, right? One thing is the kind of accepted connection request is important for me, because I select people from a huge list, and I send very specific connection requests to them. So if I am running a social selling program for one of my per service line, I'm very choosy with the people whom I will send the request to. So if I send out 50 requests, if anything less than 35 is accepted, that's a failure for me. So that's how pinpointed or laser focused is my messaging and things like that.
Okay.
So that's how. So connection requests accepted, not accepted is a big deal for me. Number two, the kind of engagement I get out of these relationships I'm building. Right. For example, the whatever content I am sharing with them, how many of them download it? Like, for example, I don't try to push all of the content to all of my audience. What I do is, if my team or myself, we invest a lot of time in creating an ebook, which I think is suitable for them, I share it with particular people who are a part of that program, and I will see how many of them literally go and download it. So that's my list building also happening at the back of the program. So that is the kind of engagement. Also, in engagement, other thing which I like is how many people engage with other social media content I post which are relevant to them, right? So these are the intangible things which I look forward to, right?
Okay.
And also on the tangible side, I will also like to see that how many conversations get converted to an interest. I will not call it a lead because it's tough in our world. Some companies you can directly call as a lead because that person might say that, oh, I'm interested in that demo, or a free trial, right? So in our case, since it's a high dollar value item, any interest, I would like to speak to a salesperson, or I would like to know more. These kind of things I consider as an interest. So these number of interests generated from these program is very important for me. Dollar value, I've never run a program where so successfully where I could attach a dollar value against it. It's pretty tough to put a dollar value and get a ROI out of it. But if I have to literally do it, I can do it, but I've never done that exercise. So interest is where I draw the line at the moment.
Okay. So, one of my friends here at Ampliz actually had it out, and I wanted to ask that at this point of time. So the question was, what are the different ways where we can leverage tools like LinkedIn and others to kind of move that, there's this one audience and there's an extended audience also. So how do you reach out to those external audiences for some warm introductions? How do you go about that?
Okay, so extended audience as in the people who are similar to your target audience?
Yes.
Right. So in that case, what you can do is, right, for example, what I recommend to most of the, my marketing colleagues is that when, imagine that you are a SaaS company, right? Or you're beginning your journey. In initial time, if you have somebody managing your social media, whenever somebody signs up for a free trial or somebody, gets in touch with you for some reason, the first touch point or something, what you can do is you can search for that particular list on LinkedIn or Twitter and connect with them then and there itself. So it's fresh off their memory also. Oh, they know Ampliz and they might connect with you there, right? Yeah. So once you connect with that, maybe you close the deal and you connect with that person who signed the check, you can check out what kind of people he follows and what kind of people follows him or her, right? So that, I'm pretty sure all of us have this tendency to connect with our own peers in the industry, right? For example, me for sure, my following has mostly marketing folks or CMOs or CXOs of some companies. So if you check out my following list or my followers, you can figure out a lot of people who are ideal target audience for you. So maybe you can try out, if it is LinkedIn, you can try out connecting with them with a customized message, or maybe even you can use the common thread and connect with them. Like, for example, hey, I know Ashwini, we have worked together in Nebla, and I see that you work with this company. It will be a fantastic opportunity for us to connect. And that will create that break that initial inertia to connect, right? They will, oh, okay, I know Ashwini. Ashwini knows him. Okay, so he must be safe. So I will connect with him, right? So similarly, that's how you can extrapolate it. Even though, all these things can be automated. Everybody is for automation, artificial intelligence and things like that. I will say that as long as you can, unless and until you have grown to 1 million followers or maybe 10K followers, it's better to run it yourself. And trust me, it doesn't take much time. If you have a person who can dedicate 1 to 2 hours every day on social media, and hello, we have smartphones, every social media has an app now. So that's how I do it. I remember some senior manager in Ola telling me that, are you always on social media? So because he was looking for a job, and he sent a resume, and I sent it all over the place, and I kept on updating him. This guy might call you, this guy might reach out to you, and he's like, what the hell? I can't understand how prompt you are. I said, dude, that's why notifications are there. So things like that. So if a team member of yours have 1 hour every day on LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure he or she can move the needle very fast for you. So maybe that's how you can look at it. So extended audience, as I mentioned, take your current audience, extrapolate it from there, right? Look, like on Facebook advertising, you have this lookalike audiences, right? Similarly, you can reverse engineer that and try for Twitter and LinkedIn. Also, other way to look at it is, imagine you guys are into outreach or something, and you can look at your competitors, Mailshake or Client or anybody for that matter, and look at their followers. I'm not saying quote them or something. Try to be connected to them also. Because if I am competing with GE or somebody, all the followers of GE will not be their customers. They might be people interested in what GE is doing, right? So if I am GE's competition, why can't I connect with them also, right? So they might find something of mine also interesting, similar. So that's how it goes.
Beautiful.
Hope I answered the question.
Definitely yes. So there's another question here. So getting that intent from them, getting the intent from the audience is a difficult task. How do that person generate trust and get that purchase intent before having connected with that person on LinkedIn? Is it possible?
Okay. Yeah. So now comes the impatience part of it, right? We want to know, we want to build that intent, or we want to understand the intent of purchase and things like that, right? So the basically how it works is, right, for example, if you have got your targeting right, if you have understood your audience right, you have done 50% of the work. Let me explain. For example, if you understand that you are targeting CTOs of the companies, and you understand the challenge of CTOs, which your product or service can solve, that's the 50% task done. Why? Because you will have enough ammunition in your store to help those CTOs understand, once they are connected, understand how this solution is perfect for them, right? Even sometimes what happens is some of your audience might not be even aware of their problem. That's where your education will come in handy, right? For example, some of your audience, they might not be aware that I can reduce 50% of my social media management time, because they are taking it leisurely right now. Okay, I'm investing 5 hours every day on social media, it's fine. But when you show them that if you can reduce that to 2.5 hours, and 2.5 hours they can use for education and learning about new strategies brands like Burger King and McDonald's are implementing, they can bring that creativity into their campaigns. They will obviously would love to look at the tool which can help them reduce that time.
Yeah.
So understanding the intent and understanding it requires a lot of aligning towards your target audience. Once you have the understanding of your audience, you connect with the right folks, number one. Number two, once you're connected with your audience, the kind of content which you will share, or the kind of engagement which you will kind of conversations which you will have with them will help you understand their intent, right? For example, the moment somebody connects with you, you can't ask them about, hey, are you looking for a solution like this? No, nobody will like that. So what you will do is you will try to soup yourself into some of the conversations they are having. Like, for example, the best way LinkedIn helps you is every now and then people will have some milestone happening. Complete job anniversary, birthdays, career change, promotions. So that is the best, sweetest plugin for you, you know. And I have seen people using the standard template which LinkedIn gives. If you look at anybody's promotion, everything will be same. Congrats on the promotion. Congrats on the promotion. That's the weirdest thing you can do. Take 10 seconds out, call out that person. Hey, Ashwini. Hard work has paid off. A freaking big congratulations on your promotion. That person will feel so happy. Out of this 50 automated messages, one person took out the time to take my name and appreciate what I do and add to that, right? So similarly, you have to find out these kind of vantage points to take advantage, right? For example, you can see that this particular person is part of a group and you can join that group. And whenever, these are all smart things to do. I'm not asking you to be very cunning person or something, right? Don't be stalking people around. But what I'm saying to say is try to understand your audience from a human perspective, right? What are the challenges they are facing and where are they contribute, how they are trying to eliminate it. Like, for example, on Twitter and all, people might post questions like, which is the best social media management tool which will help me reduce time? There are questions posted like this. You can, it's a straight away low hanging fruit for you to answer. You can say that, okay, check out this video where we have showed how you can reduce time. You know, so it's always by engaging, you can understand the intent. Like, for example, imagine that you connect with the person, you have been engaging with them for over a period of time of last 1 month and enough hello, hi, and all lot of information being exchanged, which is useful information for them, then obviously you will be in a better position to understand that whether this person is ready for a free demo. So that really helps. So try to understand their psyche and try to understand the challenges they are going through from their conversation, etc., and try to plug in your hook.
Definitely. Okay, so you know, how do I use any professional network? Say, let's say LinkedIn, for example. How do I use a platform like LinkedIn to, you know, to increase the referrals, basically? My brand referral, how do I leverage LinkedIn in that case?
For reference, right? Right. So as I mentioned, right, for example, if you have a successful social selling program running, okay, what you can do is by the time a sale has happened, that person will be having immense trust in your brand. Because as a brand and as a representative of your brand, you have never abused your powers. Since he connected to you or he or she connected to you, you have never taken the liberty to spam them. You have always been a cheerleader for them. You have always been a supporter to them. You have always tried to address their concerns whenever they had, you know, and all these things will give you immense leverage, you know, immense trust, you know, brand trust. So what you can do is once the sale has happened and once you still the conversation can still go on, right? For example, you are a marketing person, you know that Ashwini just bought a pro package of my company. I can ask Ashwini on a personal friend, hey Ashwini, good to see you that you are in our customer list. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I would love to hear your first opinion about the product. Please DM me. I'm always available here. So that person might give you a negative feedback or a positive feedback, but okay. Or maybe he may not even respond. But it's your responsibility till then, whatever conversations you have had, you have enough touch points with them. They will trust you. They will respond with either a positive or a negative one. So both are good opportunities for you. Positive, it's time to convert that into a testimonial. Okay. With the leverage you have, you can even ask for a video testimonial, which is a big deal these days. Or else, even a written testimonial will be good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how brands operate these days, right? If you look at all the successful SaaS brands in the US, top influencers vouch for them because of this kind of relationships. It's not always monetary, right? For example, in influencer marketing, everybody thinks about throwing money at micro influencers and getting results. No, sometimes it's just a non-monetary transaction. Something like, why don't you use our product free of cost and give us the feedback? Things like that, right? So as I mentioned, once they give a positive or a negative feedback, if it's a positive feedback, you can swoop in your referral program or maybe a referral pitch to them saying that, oh, we are so glad you loved our product. Please rate us on these platforms, wherever links, provide the links, make it easy for them, and also ask them to refer to their friends and family who they find suitable for the product, and that's how it kicks off, you know. So that's what I'm saying. It's all about, as the favorite saying goes, when marketers cannot drop the balls at any point of time. Across the journey, wherever possible, try to be in touch with your customer, try to help them, and try to get the best results for you. You know, so that's the ultimate motto, right? Try to help them as much as possible.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have the maximum budgets, or you don't have a bigger team to run show, smaller teams can do bigger things by all these kind of things. Be the most responsive team or the most helpful team out there. That will kill the deal for you.
Okay, so we go about this, once, for example, let me say that, I have connected with you, and at some point of time, I want to pitch my product to you. I've been very empathetic to listen to, what you've been doing and all of your company and all of that. But at what point of time do you think that I should actually start pitching about my product? Because I don't want it to get too salesy. So what would be the right time for me to talk about the product that I'm actually, that I want you to buy?
All right. So let me help you with an example here. Like, for example, imagine that I am the right target audience for your product, right? So you have connected with me and we have been interacting, right? So imagine that your tool is a cold email outreach tool. Just an example, right? So you know that I am a person who might be using such kind of tool, right? And you understand the pain points which I go through.
Yeah.
Because cold outreach is a tough nut to crack, right? There are a lot of.
It's 5 o'clock.
It's very tough to get the right results. Getting into inboxes of people, building an email list with GDPR and other regulations and all that. If you can help me tackle those challenges, how do you do that? You can, like, for example, you have created a lot of good content about it. Like, for example, from a beginner who is first time taking the baby steps in cold outreach to an expert level, you have content covering all the journey. You can keep sharing it with me on regular intervals, right? So imagine that you have an ebook which you want me to have a look at and give an opinion. Ask for opinions all the time, right? Customers' opinions are very good. It will give you good feedback. So do that. If you recently prepared a case study with a customer similar to me, make sure I see that. You have to show it to them, right? And if you have a new feature, right, which will be, that it's a killer for me, make sure you give me a free trial to check that out, and things like that. So that's how you plug your product into the conversation, right? Also, if somebody is talking about, I'm sharing one of my challenges as a comment in one of the conversations, you can plug in there as well, right? For example, email marketing is a big pain point for me. I don't know how to run campaigns which will give me the open rates and things like that. It need not be your collateral. It can be somebody else's collateral about open rates. You can share it with me. Don't just put a PDF out there for me. Try to pick up 2-3 points from it which are readily available. Copy paste that. Give your view on it. For example, if you follow these steps, your open rates might boost up. Things like that. So you will have to always, it's very easy to say that have empathy, but really having empathy is a different kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we all might have sales targets hanging on our head, leads, manager sitting behind and looking at us. Are kya empathy? Hatao empathy. Get me the sales. All these kind of things. So having these kind of pressures is one thing, but make sure that you are in it for a long run. And once you follow these kind of signposts, I'm pretty sure the results will follow. So plug it in, and sometimes you might have to go for the straight away pitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes people might not engage with you. Some people are reluctant to engage. You might as well try one last hit, but genuinely be sure that that person, it's okay to do that with them. Don't mess up a good relationship because of the desperation or a non-engagement or things like that. You use your common sense and your creativity to get that deal going.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think I've got my questions cleared, and also people from who had asked during the question session that what questions do they have for social selling. I think I've got all those questions answered, and I'm definitely sure that people will be looking forward to hearing this video. At least, people who have been part of this and people outside. I'm sure this definitely is going to be a game changer. So thank you so much, Vivek. I can't thank you enough for coming in and making this session a grand success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and good luck for you and team Ampliz.
Thank you. Yeah. So awesome. So for folks who have actually missed this video, there is a YouTube link that I'll be sharing with you guys. So if it's not, if you are an outsider, if you want to view this content, it's there on the Ampliz YouTube channel. Probably in a day or two, it should be there. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you so much, Vivek, for taking the time and effort to being part of this learning community, the Ampliz webinar. I have learned a lot from you, and I definitely hope our viewers have also got to learn a lot about social selling. And I wish you loads of good luck and success for all your future endeavors, and of course, the Thrifty Marketer. I love reading your content, and I believe other marketing folks around will also be interested. So for folks, if you're interested, I will attach the links of all his blogs, all Vivek Nair's blogs in the YouTube channel description. So do subscribe to my channel, that's Ampliz. And also, if you're interested for the future webinars, do follow me on LinkedIn, which is Ampliz Webinar with Ashwini. And I will make sure that you get all the updates fresh. So that's it for today, folks. In the next week, I have another superstar from the sales and marketing domain talking to us in a different topic. So until then, I'll see you soon, and cheers.